Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to the next reaction to Supernatural Season 4. Last episode was Yellow Fever, and I just want to start by apologising because I got quite a bit of stuff wrong during the episode, primarily the story around the police officer and his involvement with the main ghost storyline. I interpreted it that he was the one that killed the guy and just covered it up because he was a cop. But obviously when I was editing it, I kind of realised, oh god, that was completely wrong. I missed bits out where they said that he covered up for the guy that did it. And that's totally on me. Part of it was because I was coming down with hay fever. I don't know if you can notice throughout the episode, I noticed it quite a lot, that my hay fever was getting worse and worse. My nose was getting more and more blocked. I don't know how much it came through to others, whether I'm just seeing it because I know it was there. But also, as a reactor, sometimes it's hard to pick up on every little detail, because as you're talking and you're watching, and you're trying to get your feelings out and your thoughts out, sometimes you just talk over important information, and it's a shame, but unfortunately it's like part of the territory, and sometimes people in the comments don't understand that, but it is difficult to do everything at once and also be worrying about recording, lights, audio, everything at the same time. So I apologise. Brilliant episode. It has some really good funny moments, like with the Eye of the Tiger. It was so cool, and Dean running away from the dog, and just his paranoia, and I'm done with this life, we hunt monsters, that's crazy, and how obviously that as soon as the fever was gone, he was back up to I'm Dean, you know? That was pretty cool. But yeah, the ghost storyline was still pretty heartbreaking. Even though I misinterpreted some of it, it was still pretty sad to watch. And I still feel really bad for the guy. But it was a really good episode with some really funny moments. So this episode is episode 7, and it's called It's the Great Pumpkin, Sam Winchester. Now, I'm aware that there's a Charlie Brown cartoon called It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, which is quite a common thing to watch in America. I think it's quite popular. It's not something in the UK I've ever come across, ever watched. I don't know anyone that has, or anyone that's ever talks about it. So I had to do some Googling to find out what it's about. Essentially, what it boils down to, if I've interpreted it correctly, is it's all about faith. And one of the characters was waiting for the Great Pumpkin to show up just because they believed that it would. And other characters didn't have that sort of faith. So it was all about faith and trust in faith and how devout your beliefs are. So when it comes to this episode, where I think that's going to lie is because it's the Great Pumpkin, Sam Winchester, it's going to be, I presume, about how his belief, because we know he believes in angels and God and things like that, how that might be tested with what he's doing with Ruby, because he was happily going around exorcising these demons. God has basically sent me to stop you. You could see in his face that he was really concerned and really worried and scared, probably, about the repercussions if he carried on, but also what that meant for what he was doing. Should he be trusting Ruby? Should he not? I'd wager on no, but we'll have to wait and see. So I think it could be an interesting concept of if he goes back to exercising the demons and how that plays on his belief system. That could be really cool. So let's jump into the episode. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know down below in the comments what you thought, and subscribe to my channel for the rest of Season 4 of Supernatural if you watch on YouTube. There's a Patreon link down below if you want to help support the channel, and for that you'll get full-length reactions to every episode of Season 4, and 3, and most of 2, and a few episodes in advance. Let's jump into Season 4, Episode 7, It's the Great Pumpkin, Sam Winchester. Is it Halloween? Oh, I so wish Halloween's in the UK. Or anything like they are in America, because we don't do anything like this. It's like a couple of little decorations, maybe, on the most part. You're lucky if anyone even answers the door for trick-or-treaters. I'm just waiting for the penny to drop and something really bad to start happening. Oh, weird shot. That's a... Oh. That was a very strange shot. Is it glass? Oh, I don't want to see that. Razor blade? Is this witches again? This seems like a witch thing. Can you even imagine how horrifying that would be? Ugh. If he finds out one of those little, it's like a little bag, wasn't it, with bones and things in?
Legends about this stuff, but it actually happens.
More than you might imagine.
I said witches. Hell yeah.
Mrs. Wallace, did Luke have any enemies?
Really? After that guy choked down all those razor blades. It's Halloween, man. Yeah.
I do love candy.
Halloween.
I bet it's too much. Ashley Benson, isn't that?
Anything interesting?
Well, we're on a witch hunt, that's for sure. But
Was she in Pretty Little Liars?
isn't your typical hex bag.
No. That is the charred metacarpal bone of a newborn baby.
Oh,
Gross.
Relax, man. It's like at least 100 years old.
Right, well,
Still.
that makes it better.
baby bones.
Witches, man, so friggin' skeevy.
Yeah. Well, it takes a pretty powerful one to put a bag like this together.
Oh, come on, it's Halloween.
Lame.
So are these the witches? Or are these just more victims?
I stand corrected.
Well, I would have tried.
Okay, so she fancies him, he fancies the blonde one. Awkward. Not gonna end well. Uh-oh. Pull her out.
Jenny?
They're all just like, the water's boiling. Oh, poor girl.
Oh my god.
Christ on a bicycle, that's scary.
Who's Luke Wallace?
He died yesterday.
Sam just
I don't
found
know
a
what it is.
hex bag, from what they were called.
Maybe they're working a spell. Check this out. 3 blood sacrifices over 3 days. The last before midnight on the final day of the final harvest.
Okay.
Celtic calendar, the final day
Sort of
of the
ritual.
final harvest is October 31st.
Halloween.
Exactly. This witch is summoning a demon. And not just any demon. Samhain.
Oh
I'm
god.
supposed to be impressed?
Dean, Samhain is the damn origin of Halloween.
Yeah, baby.
Celts believed that October 31st was the one night of the year when the veil was thinnest between the living and the dead.
I don't think he's gonna look like that
Samhain's
though.
night, masks were put on to hide from him, sweets left on doorsteps to appease him, faces carved into pumpkins to worship him.
This is one of the seals,
Some witch
maybe?
wants to raise Samhain.
Raising Samhain, because that's a huge
Dean,
deal.
This is serious.
I am serious.
We're talking heavyweight witchcraft. This ritual can only be performed
What's
every 600
about the
years.
seals for
Then the 600-year marker rolls around.
a number of episodes.
Naturally. Well, sure is a lot of death and destruction for one demon.
That's because he likes company. Once he's raised, Samhain can do some raising of his own.
Raising what exactly?
Dark, evil
dead?
crap, and lots of it. I mean, they follow him around like the friggin' Pied Piper. Our apple-bobbing cheerleader?
Tracy? The Wallace's babysitter. She told me she'd never even heard of Luke Wallace.
Interesting look for a centuries-old witch.
Yeah, well, if you were a 600-year-old hag and you could pick any costume to come back in, wouldn't you go for a hot cheerleader?
Yeah. Or, yeah, I don't know. Oh, creepy much?
Bring back memories?
Yeah,
What do you mean?
not good ones.
Hey, you two had a violent
Has he been a
altercation?
supernatural before?
She exploded. If Principal Murrow hadn't walked by when he did, Tracy would have clawed my eyes out.
Why?
I was only trying to rap with her about her work. It had gotten inappropriate and disturbing. She would cover page after page with these bizarre, cryptic symbols. And then there were the drawings. Detailed images of killings, gory, primitive. She would depict herself in the middle of them, participating.
Trick or treat.
This is a motel,
So?
so we don't have any candy.
No, we have a ton, and the,
We did, but it's gone.
Sorry, kid, we can't help you.
I want candy.
Well, I think you've had enough.
Who are you? Sam, wait!
Oh,
It's Castiel. The angel.
oh.
Him I don't know.
It's an honor. Really, I've heard a lot about you.
Shouldn't be more scared.
And I, you. Sam Winchester, the boy with the demon blood. Glad to hear you've ceased your extracurricular activities.
Let's keep it that way.
Who are you?
Yeah, okay, Chuckles.
Another angel?
Where's your friend?
It's raising of Samhain. Have you stopped it? If we hadn't found it, surely one or both of you would be dead. Do you know where the witch is now?
We're working on it.
That's unfortunate.
What do you care?
He's really ominous, who's he?
Raising of Samhain is one of the 66 seals.
This is
Yeah.
about your buddy Lucifer.
Thought so.
Lucifer is no friend of ours.
So if we work together...
Enough of this.
Okay, who are you and why should I care?
This is Uriel.
Uriel.
He's what you might call a specialist.
Hi, Ariel.
What kind of a specialist?
Both of you need to leave this town immediately.
How can they stop the witch?
Because we're about to destroy it.
Oh. Never mind then. That's heavy.
This witch has to die. The seal must be saved.
There are 1,000 people here.
1,214.
And you're willing to kill them all?
This isn't the first time I've purified
Yeah,
the city.
thought so.
Look, it's the lives of 1,000 against the lives of 6 billion. There's a bigger picture here.
Right. The bigger picture kind of guys.
Lucifer cannot rise. He does, and hell rises with him. Is that something that you're willing to risk?
You're supposed to show mercy.
Says who?
We have no choice.
Of course you have a choice. I mean, come on, what, you've never questioned a crap order? Huh? What are you both, just a couple of hammers?
Sorry, I'm not saying a lot. I'm
Tell me
just
something, Dean. When your father
trying to take it all in.
gave you an order, didn't you obey?
he's not
Sorry,
wrong.
boy, looks like your plans have changed. You're gonna wipe out a whole town for one little witch? Sounds to me like you're compensating for something.
It's really interesting. I want to know more about what powers they have, because they had the power to send Dean back in time. If they're that powerful, could they not just send Sam and Dean out of town and then wipe the town out?
I thought they'd be different.
You thought they'd be all
The angels?
happy, shiny
I tried
wings.
to tell you.
I mean, I thought they'd be righteous.
They're in the middle of a
No.
war.
They are righteous. I mean, that's kind of the problem. Of course, there's nothing more dangerous than some a-hole who thinks he's on a holy mission.
You know how much heat it would take to char a bone like this, Dean?
Kiln.
No.
A lot. I mean, more than a fire or some kitchen oven.
Kill.
Hey, Betty Crocker, what does that mean?
There we go.
My God. Those are all from children.
Yep.
I'm guessing he's not saving it for the dog.
So it wasn't that Tracy character.
It's out of our hands.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be.
And what would you suggest?
Uriel's
That we
reckless.
drag Dean Winchester out of here, and then we blow this insignificant pinprick off the map.
You know our true orders. Are you prepared to disobey?
What? The more we learn about angels, the more fascinated I am. Because obviously we've got like a new angel now. We've got Uriel, as well as Castiel. I want to know more. Okay. That seemed too easy.
Did you see what he was doing? Did you hear him?
Maybe it is her.
How sloppy his incantation was?
There we go. Never mind then.
There always was a little dim. The gun is
What's he doing?
What are you doing? Just follow my lead.
Is he going to try... Is he going to have to use his powers somehow? But she's not a demon, she's a witch. Sam's going to have to use his powers to save the day. I think. That's going to cause more trouble with the angels. Hi, Samhain. Like his eyes.
This face. I can't fool you.
Your beauty is beyond time. Whore.
Oh, wait. That's not really that kind of language. So is the blood to maybe just mask the fact that they're still alive? Is it? Possibly. Interesting.
Might take more than the usual weapons.
Yeah.
Forget the angels, okay? You said yourself, these powers, it's like playing with fire.
Yeah. It's dangerous to keep doing it. Look at these zombies. Wow. Whoa. Oh. Yeah, that was gross.
Bring it on, Stinky.
So this power
Yeah. That demon ray gun stuff doesn't work on me.
No. I think he's going to exercise him. I knew he's going to do it. Samhain's not just a normal demon, right? So is it going to be as easy as... Okay, never mind. God damn it. Stop him, Dean. If you have another way. Okay, well, it worked. So there's that. But even... He's got a nose... Oh, God. This is dangerous. I'm nervous about this storyline.
Tomorrow, November 2nd. It's an anniversary for you, right?
What are you doing here?
Is that when Jess
Today,
died?
Azazel killed your mother.
Yeah.
And 22 years later, your girlfriend, too.
Yeah.
What was I supposed to do?
Because that bedding is
That demon
horrendous.
would have killed me and my brother and everyone.
You were told.
My brother was right about you. You are dicks.
Why? I'm actually on their side, which is really unusual.
The only reason you're still alive, Sam Winchester, is because you've been useful. But the moment that ceases to be true, the second you become more trouble than you're worth, one word, one, and I will turn you to dust.
Why does he sign up to an angel? I just don't get it.
Ask Dean what he remembers from hell.
I'm very conflicted on this whole storyline. Very conflicted about how the boys are acting, considering it is angels and God that are behind this. And that seems like just a big deal.
Our orders were not to stop the summoning of Samhain. They were to do whatever you told us to do.
Okay.
Your orders
Why?
don't follow my orders?
It was a test to see how you would perform under battlefield conditions, you might say.
Are they making him an angel?
Because, see, I don't know what's going to happen when these seals are broken. Hell, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But what I do know is that this here, these kids, the swings, the trees, all of it is still here because of my brother and me.
Yep.
Even though you stopped Samhain, the seal was broken. And we are one step closer to hell on earth for all creation. And that's not an expression, Dean. It's literal. I have questions. I have doubts.
Oh.
I don't know what is right and what is wrong anymore. Whether you passed or failed here.
God, if an angel's questioning God.
But
That's
in the coming months, you will have more decisions to make.
scary.
I don't envy the weight that's on your shoulders, Dean.
It's going to be a tough road ahead by the sounds of it. It's going to be gone. That's from years of watching Buffy and Angel, where Angel just disappears when the character looks away. Okay, so that was my reaction to Series 4, Episode 7. It's The Great Pumpkin, Sam Winchester. And like every episode, as Angel's in it, it raises a lot of tough questions, a lot of interesting questions, a lot of interesting dilemmas, and a lot to really think about. So, just as a prime example, Uriel wanted to wipe out the town, to stop the witch, to stop the seal being broken. And obviously, we know as just humans that wiping out 1,000 people is a really bad thing to do. But if it was to stop hell from rising, the world turning into hell, Lucifer from rising, from killing billions of people, is it a necessary evil? Yeah, in that moment it's going to be horrendous, but if it was to stop a larger calamity, I don't see it as a right or wrong approach, and I think everyone's got a different reason for what they decide, and yet in that instance I would probably do what Sam and Dean did, which is try and stop it before it gets to the point where we need to wipe out the city. So I am on their side in the fact that let's try and stop this before it gets to that point, let's just not go ham straight away. But it is a very interesting thing to think about, whereas if you had the knowledge that this one moment would stop Lucifer from rising, could you kill that 1,000 people? I don't know what I would do. I really don't. Hopefully, it's never going to come to that. But just the way that the angels are posing questions are acting and talking about how Dean's got difficult decisions ahead, I could see that easily being a moment in the future where he has to make some horrendous decision, maybe between the lives of a bunch of people to save the many. What do you do in that circumstance? I don't know. It's a circumstance that none of us will hopefully ever have to be in, hopefully. But the Angels were cool in this. I really like Castiel. I'm enjoying his character and the portrayal and the seriousness. It worries me a little bit that he's questioning God now. I mean, it's interesting, but when you got this character that's saying such intense, serious things and is here to, Sam needs to stop what he's doing, I've been sent here on a mission, I brought you back from hell, and you follow that and you have to believe every word he says, when you know that he's got questions, then doubts start to raise in my mind of, well, how do I follow your orders if you're not even sure that your orders are legit or are for the greater good? Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? It's really a hard thing to think about because I want Castiel to be the character that comes in and we follow his word, and it's not easy, but easy that we know that what he says goes. But when he's then going, I don't know everything either, I have questions, I'm like, oh God. So we don't know that what you've been telling us to do is as good as it appears to be. And I don't think that's Castiel's fault by any means. I think that's maybe the way that Uriel is, where he's very strict, very... people are kind of meaningless to him. We've got to just do what we've got to do to get the end goal. Maybe God is like that, and that's where Castiel's gotten confused, that God is very much, this needs to be done, do it, don't care about why, don't care about how, just get it done, you know? And that's going to be really difficult to follow if you need to know, maybe like Castiel does, why are we doing this? Is this the best option? And yeah, it's going to raise some really interesting stuff throughout the season, I imagine, because this was interesting on its own, but when we get to like the finale, the mid-season finale, when Dean's got to make some crazy choice, it's not like he can just turn to Castiel and say, what's the right thing to do? Because Castiel's got questions as well. You know, I hope that makes sense. I hope my stream of consciousness thought makes sense in what I'm thinking. But Sam using his powers again was inevitable. At the end of episode 4, when he said, I'm never going to use them again, we all knew he would at some point, and I figured the way this episode was going, it was going to be this episode, and particularly when he was alone with Samhain, was like, he's going to use his powers to get rid of him, and I don't blame him for using them at all, especially in this circumstance, because Samhain is a big deal, and at that moment in time, he was cornered, and he used his power to stop him. Am I okay with it? No, just because the angels are clearly marking his back with the target, and the more he uses them, if he uses them again, that's going to make them run out of chances. Now, I know Sam's in 15 seasons of the show, right? So, I know they're not just going to turn up, kill him for good, and that's it. Like with Dean in the end of Series 3, Sam in the end of Series 2, even if they kill him off, he comes back in some form. But it does worry me the repercussions of all that and how that can roll on to something a bit more serious, because Sam's like actively going against Angel's wishes, which for someone who believes in angels is a really dark storyline. Like a lot of commenters have said, basically ever since Mystery Spot, he goes down a darker storyline. His point of view changes a little bit, how he reacts to things, and we can see that here as well. That even when he saw the angels, he was like, oh my God, it's so nice to meet you, such an honour. But it was less than an episode before he was going against their wishes and using his powers again. So you can see that even though he's religious and has faith and believes in angels, the fact that they're not what he imagined they would be, which I think is a really silly approach to have a very specific mindset of what they're going to be, and the second that they're not that, you're done, is quite dangerous. You know, I expected them to be self-righteous, but they weren't, so I think they're dicks, you know? I don't think the angels are that bad. I mean, maybe I'm in a really unique mindset compared to a lot of people I don't know, but the angels don't come across like dicks to me. They come across like, we're trying to stop the apocalypse. What we want to do is dark and a lot, but we know in this instance, it wasn't that they wanted to wipe out the town. Their orders were to follow Dean. So it was basically up to Dean without his knowledge that he had the choice of whether the town was going to get wiped out or not. But my thought process is, they're here to stop the apocalypse. What I believe in what an angel should be is not that important compared to the end of the world. And I know that might not be a popular opinion. I'm not saying Sam's wrong for what he's doing, but it says a lot that he has faith, believes, meets them. The second he meets them, he's not okay because they're not what you expect them to be, and therefore that leads on partly to him choosing to use his powers again, even though that was a dire circumstance. So there's a lot of interesting things going on here. I can imagine, like with my thoughts on Sam a few episodes ago that I went on Patreon recently, not everyone's going to agree with my opinion, and that is fine. I am still Team Sam. I do love him. I think Team Jared mostly, but because he was looking fine this episode. I just think if it was me, and I'm not a religious person particularly, but if the angels showed up at my house and said, it's the end of the world, we're here to stop it, that's why we showed up, basically do as we say, within reason, I think I would pay more attention to that than just going against them, calling them dicks and all this stuff. I think they don't seem to be understanding the seriousness of what's going on, the apocalypse. But I guess that is a hard thing to wrap your head around. It's easy for us as viewers of a TV show to go, oh, it's the apocalypse. But for the people who've just been hunting demons all their life to then be told, oh yeah, the end of the world's coming, it's quite a lot to take in. But the demon storyline this episode was pretty good. I expected the way that, because the reason I kept saying I think they're going to bring back old monsters and stuff is because as I was talking over the previously on, it kept showing a lot of the monsters they've killed. There was the clown, there was some other things. So I just assumed that when Samhain was raising the evil, that he was going to bring back some things that they'd got rid of. But I was completely wrong in that regard, so I apologise for that. But it was pretty good. I liked Samhain, I thought he was cool. I like Ashley Benson as an actress. She's pretty good. I think the more exciting part of the storyline was the angels and all that kind of aspects. But what it boils down to is another seal has been broken, and they're one step closer to the apocalypse and to Lucifer getting free. So, yeah, scary stuff, really. Don't know whether I'm glad it was a serious episode. I enjoyed the past two comedy episodes, but I like the fact that this was a bit more serious, a bit more mythology, a bit scarier. And I think we're only a couple episodes away from what was the mid-season finale. I think it's episode 9 or 10. I think it might be 10, I'll have to look it up again, but I'm pretty sure it was 10. So 3 episodes away. So they're building up to something huge happening. I am nervous. I am scared. But looking forward to it. I'm really excited to where this season's going. I'm loving it so far. Let me know down below in the comments what you thought of this episode. It was season 4, episode 7. It's Great Pumpkin, Sam Winchester. Did you enjoy it? Did you have the same opinions with me of the angels, that I don't see them as dicks? I understand that they're not the nicest people, but when it's the apocalypse, it's not really the time for nicey-nicey. You know, let's just talk about it, be all friendly, and sometimes you've got to just be like, this needs to be done. It's the end of the world, boys. Just listen to us. But I understand why it's also hard to take on. So maybe I'm on my own in that opinion. We'll have to wait and see. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. As always, my name is Scott. Hope you guys are well. Taking care of yourselves and staying safe. If you enjoyed the video, leave some comments down below. Let me know what you thought. And consider subscribing for the rest of Series 4. If you watch this on YouTube, I'll take a look at the Patreon link down below. Yeah, any comments you've got would be greatly appreciated. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on this one. Thanks for watching. Take care. I'll see you all very soon for the next episode, which is episode 8 of season 4. Bye, guys, and take care.